All right, guys, we got to talk about, even though how a lot of people thought the Terra Luna judge was rejecting the Judge Torres's ruling on the XRP Ripple case, he was not. We got to get something out of the way first. This does not mean Terra Luna has lost the case in the first place. It just means the case wasn't dismissed. It's not like the judge is like, the SEC won, Terra Luna lost, is definitely a security. He just refused to dismiss the case, so the case will go on. What that means is they have to have a real case with a trial. They present evidence, discovery, and all that stuff, and it has to go through the whole process, just like the XRP case did have to do, and they have to come up with a ruling after that. This does not mean that Terra Luna already lost. Now, I have said before, they decided to go after Terra Luna and now HEX because they are low-hanging fruit, and they want victories in those cases to bolster their case when they get to an appeal, which I believe they will go to. During the process, before the appeal comes through, and even if they win it, there's about maybe like a 2-year process, maybe even more, where Judge Torres' ruling actually stands. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, if this other guy basically overturned Torres' ruling, then, the appeals court will have something else to go on. But he did not actually overturn Judge Torres' ruling. That is a misconception, and we're going to go look at that. So we have more of a legal expert on Twitter. So he said, Judge Rakoff's opinion, Rakoff is the Terra Luna judge, in Terra is far from a complete departure from the Ripple holding, contrary to some commentary that's already been circulating. The big part is he agrees with the fundamental premise in the Judge Torres decision that tokens themselves are not investment contracts. Let me repeat that again. Tokens themselves are not investment contracts. And here is the key language, and that's exactly what Torres said. To be sure, original UST and Luna tokens, as originally created and when considered in isolation, might not then have been by themselves investment contracts, much as orange groves and High would not be considered securities if they were sold apart from the cultivator's premise to share any profits derived by the cultivation. So basically, if the person selling did not promise any profits from the project or from the coin, then they wouldn't actually be considered securities, as in Ripple. There was no contract there, and by Torres's own research and stuff, she decried that basically Ripple did not promise profits to any retail buyers, although they did for institutional buyers. Now, the thing is, Terra Luna is very, very different with UST and Terra Luna. Do Kwon actually did say all the proceeds of Terra Luna would go back into the ecosystem, and that would make investors money. So he kind of did promise that it would make people money, and that would satisfy the other prong of the Howey test. Plus, Terra Luna, I'm not really sure if it had any other utility besides that. So it is very, very different from Ripple. So once again, he just strengthened Judge Torres' premise that these coins by themselves in isolation are not securities. But when you apply the test to Terra Luna, you get a different result. Now, like I said, he did not declare Terra Luna a security because the lawsuit isn't over yet and Terra Luna has not lost. So in this case, he basically said secondary market purchasers have all the information that primary ones do, and they purchased it just to make profit. The thing is, the key point is this: Judge Torres arguably could have reached the same result in Ripple without being unfaithful to the logic outlined in her opinion. She just didn't have the facts available to do so. But the thing is, it really depends on what the issuer actually sold the product as. With Ripple, it's not. With Ripple and XRP, it's not. With Terra Luna, it is. Now, I think this goes into are the coins primarily made for something else? And did the issuer promise any kind of profit? Now, for a lot of the earlier coins, I don't think they did. And I think a lot of the other coins, XRP, XLM, Vechain, Cardano, HBAR, and Ethereum even, I think they had other purposes. So they would not end up be a security if sold on the secondary market. On the primary market, I think they would be securities just because of Torres' decision and this extra decision. Although you would have to say if the institutional buyers buying it, are they buying it mainly for profit? If that answer is yes, then it would be a security. But like institutional investors are generally large VCs, and they would be buying because of profit. So based on that logic, most primary sales would actually be securities, if not all primary sales. Now that doesn't really make sense because ODL, you're actually buying for utility. So they might actually reverse the ODL ruling, which could actually be good for Ripple. Right now, this could actually lend a little bit of credence into XRP being the only coin with clarity status. But I think the SEC at this point is going to sue coins that are most clearly securities that wasn't created for any other purpose, maybe besides to generate profit. So the thing is, like, this actually might give some trouble to DeFi, but the other big L1s that were made for different purposes, like I've just said, Vechain, HBAR, XLM, Cardano, I think they will be fine, and I don't think the SEC will actually be suing them, including Ethereum. But some of the other like tokens that are made on Ethereum in these chains, like some of the DeFi protocols, where you're basically using the coin to generate yield, unless you throw in the argument of like it's used for governance as well or some other purpose, they might actually have a little bit of trouble. And I think that's why DeFi going into it could actually have problems. Now, DeFi has another problem with Curve because Curve actually lost so much money. By the way, this has nothing to do with the Curve thing, but beforehand, the Curve basically founder did leverage or did actually put up his CRV for collateral for cash and a 3-to-1 basis, and he bought 2 mansions totaling $100 million. Now, that doesn't actually empty CRV. He actually put up his own CRVs for collateral, and right now at the price of Curve, it can still sustain that collateral. But since they lost $1.5 billion, they have a lot of debts to pay, and that means they have to liquidate some of their treasury to repay that debt. And that means like the coins that they actually have earned in their treasury could actually be liquidated to pay that debt, which was no good for other coins that are actually held in that treasury because there might be a liquidation. Now, I don't exactly know what that liquidation price is. I don't know what coins they have in their treasury, but if you have that information, you might want to not invest so much in those coins that Curve actually has in their treasury. I think like this added on to the fact that this judge's ruling doesn't really favor a lot of DeFi tokens because DeFi tokens are essentially made for yield and profit. I still think DeFi will be big outside the United States, but in the United States, because of this ruling, DeFi could actually have issues. So DeFi's has 2 problems right now: the liquidation from Curve and this ruling right now. So it definitely could have a bit of trouble in the future. I still think DeFi and ecosystem is one of the most important, if not the most important development for a coin's price in the next bull run, but some of it may be outside the United States. I do think the US is trying to get regulations to actually regulate DeFi, but I don't know if that'll actually come in time. And I'm not really sure how much the SEC is going to have to go after DeFi projects. I think they will push those projects that are only there to actually generate yield, because I think they're going to have a very, very hard time attacking like L1s that have other utility and that did not promise the investors any kind of return on profit. So that is kind of like the XRP deal and the DeFi deal. The other thing is, if you guys didn't know why Bitcoin pumped earlier today, but is retracing now, is because of Michael Saylor. He said he might buy $750 million worth of Bitcoin. MicroStrategy already owns about $1.414 billion of Bitcoin. They own about 152,000 Bitcoin, which roughly is about... It's less than, actually, there's 21 million Bitcoin, and also it's roughly less than 1% supply. So you don't really need to worry about Michael Saylor buying all the Bitcoin, but he's accumulating as much Bitcoin as possible. But I think he said he might buy it. He didn't say he will buy it. So might and will, 2 different things. He's not buying it all at once. Obviously, he doesn't have that much money, but eventually he will buy it. So I think we're getting kind of out of that FOMO phase, and that's why it's actually dropping right now. Back to like an equilibrium price, probably slightly above 29,000 right now. So I think we're going to stay there for a while. But I wanted to clear up the thing about which coins might be securities and which coins might not be securities. I think if you look at Racker's ruling, you would say like XRP, XLM, VET, Cardano, Ethereum, and a lot of the older L1s that actually have utility behind them won't actually be securities. But coins like Terra Luna, HEX, maybe some of the new DeFi protocols will actually be securities under this rule, and I'm not really sure which ones the SEC is going to sue. I feel like the SEC is going to sue easy targets for right now because they actually want some ammo for their eventual attempt at an appeal, which I don't think will actually work. But I just wanted to say Judge Rakoff's opinion did not really differ that much from Judge Torres. It's just that Terra Luna and Ripple were actually different. So they are going to, this judge is wanting to look at how the coins were actually offered. And based on his thing, like, coins that actually were built for a different industry that didn't promise the investors any kind of profit should be okay. But DeFi coins could have a tough argument. And yes, we did go up because of Michael Saylor's kind of like $750 million I might buy thing. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.